KREM 2 News begins now.
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. This is your KREM 2 News Week in Review. Join us as we take a closer look at some of the biggest stories in the Inland Northwest this past week.
So Highway 2 is back open now, but earlier this morning the highway was closed in both directions. Take a look at this video. This is of the roadblock earlier this morning. Spokane Police Department says that around 2:30 this morning, a woman was either walking in the middle of the road or at least crossing the road, and a car hit her. Then another car hit that same woman. Both cars left the area after the crash. When officers got there, they found the woman dead. And officers did some investigating, found some evidence, and were able to find both drivers of both cars. They ended up arresting both of them. One was a man and one was a woman. The woman is charged with vehicular homicide and the man is charged with felony hit and run. The road ended up being closed here for a couple of hours. Drivers had to go around detouring through Airport Way. But again, officers were able to reopen the road about 8 o'clock this morning, and now things are running smoothly again. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
That's right. People that live in the area tell me that specific stretch of Highway 2 is dangerous. They say cars travel over the speed limit and at night, the road is hard to see.
It's just a really dangerous area.
Jennifer Jordan has lived near Highway 2 for the past 4 years.
Every other week we see a car accident right here.
Jordan has had to put up cones near the highway because of how dangerous it is.
People go really fast right here. I had to put cones out for my kids because no one follows the speed limit right here.
Jordan isn't surprised that a woman got killed on that stretch of highway. It's an incident that also isn't surprising to Spokane police. Spokane police say in 2023, 9 pedestrians were killed as a result of vehicles. Another 9 were killed in car versus car fatalities, bringing the total to 18. Police also say the number of pedestrian versus vehicle accidents increased by almost 40%. From 2022 to 2023. It's those numbers that cause concerns for Jordan.
I think they need like a traffic light right here.
Spokane police say the number of hit and runs have increased in the past several years. Police attribute that to a past state law that prevented police from pursuing cars in most cases, and also to the Spokane Police Department cutting its traffic unit. Just last week, state lawmakers passed an initiative that rolls back those restrictions on police, leaving it up to individual departments to determine their own pursuit policy. For Jordan, concerns remain.
The only bus stop for people who take the bus is way down there. So you always see people like from this building and stuff.
Police say if you do happen to accidentally hit someone or something, stop and check. If you cooperate and police find you to not be at fault, there may be no charges. But if you do run from a crash, you could get charged with a hit and run and even a vehicular homicide if someone died.
And every time I pull in right here, I have to be really careful because they just go so fast.
The TikTok app is used by 170 million Americans. U.S. leaders are concerned that the app's Chinese-based owner could be obligated to hand over all that American user data to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, this bill is a step Representative Kathy McMorris Rodgers says is necessary to protect Americans.
I'm sorry. TikTok gained popularity with its viral dance videos and entertaining influencers.
Car air freshener, and it's supposed to smell like Sol de Janeiro.
But access to the app in the U.S. may become restricted.
A bill that just passed the U.S. House threatens banning TikTok if its China-based owner doesn't separate from the Chinese Communist Party. Now, Eastern Washington Representative Kathy McMorris Rodgers says this bill is crucial for national security.
It's not impacting content. It is focused on what we believe is a national security risk because we have these adversaries like China controlling apps.
How can we be sure that separating from ByteDance will make TikTok less of a threat to U.S. data?
Our concern is that this app, TikTok, is ultimately controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Our intelligence agencies in briefings have told us that they see this as a tool of the Chinese Communist Party because they control they ultimately control the data of 177 million Americans.
Although this bill had sweeping support in the House, not all lawmakers are on board. Some worry about the impact the potential ban will have on American entrepreneurs who use this platform. I asked the Congresswoman about this.
I understand those concerns, and that this has been used by 177 million American users that are on this platform. It's very popular. Our goal is to make sure that we're protecting Americans by having this app divested from ultimately the Chinese Communist Party through ByteDance.
Now the bill heads to the Senate for a vote. Now both Washington Senators Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell told me today they recognize the importance and intent behind this bill, but they want to hear from more experts and discuss further proposals before making a decision. Now we do know President Joe Biden says he will sign it if Congress passes the measure. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
The stage is being set at Spokane Arena. But all this beer is for Blake Shelton fans. Basketball fans don't have much longer to wait, though. The hardwood will be laid down immediately after the Chiefs step off the ice Sunday.
And the moment those hockey games are done, this building starts getting flipped over for the basketball tournament.
The Spokane Arena will host first and second round NCAA men's games starting next Friday. Last year, Visit Spokane projected this one weekend could bring in $4.4 million for the local economy.
That's saying it takes a village. It literally takes a city for this.
Now, this is a second shot for Spokane to host part of the NCAA men's tourney. COVID fouled up those plans the last time the Lilac City was selected to host in 2020.
I'm just getting set up for lunch. So I gotta do some tomatoes.
Ian Wingate is prepping too. His restaurant Outsider is in the sports and entertainment hub of the podium, stadium, and arena, meaning big business.
You know, we have a line out the door, people are waiting.
With the national spotlight on Spokane, he's expecting an even bigger payday next weekend.
Oh, everything. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, gross dollars pay the bills. The more people we get through here and the more people we bring into town.
The arena's ready to fill 12,000 seats a game. Arena staff have already started clearing out areas under the building, making space for media and teams.
Well, it's months-long work.
Including meetings with the NCAA and site visits to make sure Spokane's hotels, facilities, and the arena can handle such a big show. Luckily, Spokane's no stranger to the big dance and ready to go.
They love coming here. The city puts on such a great show in everything that they want for their athletes.
Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Fans and businesses are getting ready for the NCAA tournament to take over Spokane. That includes the University of Idaho, who are hosting the games. The wait is almost over.
We are so looking forward to working up in Spokane.
For the University of Idaho, the host school for the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament held in Spokane. U of I won the right to host after a competitive bidding process in 2020.
We have a whole checklist of everything that you need to have done or should have done ahead of time.
That's Terry Golick, the University of Idaho athletic director. She says the university is in charge of making sure everything is ready to go, from the court and basketballs to hotels, practice schedules, and more.
We want to knock it out of the park. We want to be the best host facility or entity that we can.
100 volunteers will also play a part in making the event a success.
I'm just grateful that they reached out and I get this opportunity again to help them.
Volunteers like Freddie Rico, who volunteered at the NCAA women's basketball tournament held in Spokane in 2022. He's excited to get back.
They call Spokane Hooptown, for a reason. I think this community just embraces basketball.
Rico will be in charge of court supervising and walking players to press conferences. He couldn't pass up the opportunity.
Volunteering gives me an opportunity to kind of give back, but also help the universities. And I mean, how can you go wrong? You get to see some really good basketball.
Golick hopes this year's tournament will lead to more opportunities in the future.
It gives great exposure to our university if you host a great event, and people usually ask you back again and again.
The University of Idaho has already been tasked with hosting the 2025 NCAA women's basketball tournament in Spokane. The University of Idaho athletic director says the school will have its logo on the court during the tournament. Golick can't wait for the games to begin. In Spokane, Nathan Han, KREM 2 News.
As the city of Hayden continues to grow, finding room for the new people moving in is proving to be tricky. The proposed development, Hayden Sky, could potentially help out with that, but it's not without its concerns. The Hayden City Council spent about 3 hours Tuesday night in a crowded council chamber for one item on the agenda, the proposed Hayden Sky Development. According to city documents, the proposed project would create over 400 dwelling units, 2 public parks, private open space, and a light industrial lot. The application also proposes to develop 300 residential lots with 1- and 2-story single homes and almost 30 2-story fourplexes. The industrial lot would be for self-storage. The development will be located on West Hayden Avenue, just southwest of the Coeur d'Alene Airport. The proposal's representatives told city councilors they plan to build the development in 4 phases, starting this year with phase 1. But a couple of community members questioned the proposal, with sewage a big concern since a wastewater treatment facility is located nearby.
But if this was to happen again, I would hope that you put your best efforts forward, because smelling poop is not a good idea on a daily basis.
Traffic, especially at the nearby Hayden and Hutter intersection, also drew concerns.
And it takes at times 15 minutes to get from Hutter onto Hayden to come home.
In regards to traffic, Atlas and Hayden is a freaking nightmare. It is like avenging death to get out of there.
The Hayden City Council had the option of approving, denying, or delaying the preliminary planned unit development. In the end, the City Council voted to approve the preliminary proposed project 3-2. In Hayden, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
The defense for Daniel Howard now has the floor. Attorney Jason Johnson attempted to establish the suspect's character through the testimony of his lifelong friend.
One of my closest friends for, holy crud, 43 years.
Chris McCullough told the jury he visited with Howard shortly after Kendi's death. He described Howard as brokenhearted and distraught over his wife's death. During questions from prosecutors, McCullough said he believes his friend did not kill Kendi.
But you're believing him because he said so, right?
That's a kind of a question in a vacuum, sir. I believe him because I know him.
The judge later restricted further testimony from McCullough after learning he watched a live stream of the trial last week. The judge says that violates the order for all witnesses in this case.
The purpose of the exclusion order is so that witnesses can't correlate their testimony with what they're seeing and to prevent bias.
Spokane County's former medical examiner, Dr. John Howard, did the initial autopsy on Kendi. In his testimony, Dr. Howard maintained a gunshot wound was Kendi's cause of death. This contradicts testimony from the state's experts, who say she died from the carotid restraint technique, which cuts off blood flow to the brain.
That lawsuit against Attorney General Bob Ferguson and Washington Medical Commission Executive Director Kyle Kiernan was filed last week, almost a year after the pandemic officially ended. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, John Stockton was mostly known for his skill on the basketball court as a former Gonzaga Bulldog and NBA Hall of Famer. Now he's joining a new team as part of a lawsuit filed last Friday over COVID-19 sanctions. The new lawsuit, which includes several other medical professionals, including a retired ophthalmologist from Clarkston, claims its purpose is to, quote, protect the right of physicians to speak and the right of the public to hear their message. The attorneys for the lawsuit, which includes presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy, filed the suit in federal court. The lawsuit also states Stockton believes, quote, people have the First Amendment right to hear the public soapbox speech of Washington licensed physicians who disagree with the mainstream COVID narrative. Now, this isn't the first time Stockton's criticized the pandemic response. Back in June of 2021, KREM 2 reported the former ZAG participated in the documentary COVID and the Vaccine, Truth, Lies, and Misconceptions Revealed, doubting the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine.
This isn't a virus cheating us of these opportunities. It's the guys making decisions saying, no, we're too scared. We're going to shut everything down, sit in your house and be careful.
Months later, Gonzaga University banned the former top dog from going to games in the kennel for refusing to wear a mask. In Spokane, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
There are about 60 doctors, Washington licensed physicians, who are somewhere in the process of being investigated, prosecuted, or sanctioned, or have already been sanctioned for all or in part based on speaking out in public against what we'll call the mainstream COVID narrative. The question is, does the fact that someone has a state license, a state health license, give the state government some additional powers that it wouldn't have over an individual? I just can't think of a better advocate for people's rights than John Stockton. He's been the focal point and the brunt of some of these issues. He's, been castigated and vilified. All these lawsuits were really about, up until now, about doctors having the right to speak. But ultimately, that's not really the important point. The important point is the right to hear the information. Your right, my right, Stockton's right to hear the information.
What do you say to people who are questioning why now? COVID is over. Why are we even still worried about it?
I'd say, why the hell they keep on prosecuting these doctors? That's right, the pandemic is over. So drop this stuff.
What is your goal in the state of Washington with this case?
Our objective is to either obtain a preliminary injunction stopping the Washington Medical Commission from investigating, prosecuting, or sanctioning doctors for speaking out in public against the mainstream COVID narrative, as it were, or if not, to get to the Supreme Court, because I believe the Supreme Court will stop this. And one of the things we need to do to fix it is to take away the state's power to sanction doctors for expressing dissenting opinions, because that's, a lot of people think the First Amendment is pretty important to democracy.
County Sheriff Bob Norris has been vocal for more than a year now about what he believes is sexually explicit content freely accessible to kids. KREM 2 News just obtained video showing Norris checking up on what minors are able to check out. This is Sheriff Norris back in April 2023 on a visit to Hayden's library.
I'm just curious and would like to document this visit.
But he's here to peruse the young adults section with a woman who says she's with the group Clean Books for Kids. They're on the hunt for materials and themes she says the group raised a stink about for more than a year.
I remember going to a library when I was growing up, when we were about the same age, is there would have an area for 18 and over.
Since last year, Sheriff Norris has fought to move what he deems sexually explicit materials to an adult section. It appears Idaho's legislature may be moving forward on doing just that. The state's House passed legislation Wednesday, opening up a complaint process for material available to children and teens. People can request items considered harmful to minors be moved. It doesn't require a library to do anything, but if the item isn't relocated, a family could sue for $250.
This is a local government issue. It is overreach by the state government.
There are times where local control happens and we don't have to make it a statewide problem. But when you have multiple counties, multiple cities coming forward with the same problem, that's where the state then has to step in.
House Bill 710 says school and public libraries must limit what materials available to children under 18. That means nothing depicting nudity, sexual content, or any other material called harmful to minors.
I mean, there's nothing blatant in here, blatantly sexual, but
under the bill, the definition of sexual content includes any act of homosexuality.
These guys on a team, this is an intentionally very androgynous character. All the girls fawn for him in the beginning of the book, but it's made clear later in the book that he prefers boys.
Last year, lawmakers passed a much stricter bill. It would have allowed people to sue libraries for $2,500 if children got access to so-called sexually explicit material. Governor Brad Little vetoed it, calling it too ambiguous.
If this doesn't pass, we're going back to that bill. This issue is going to get solved one way or the other. You better pick which one you like.
House Bill 710 now makes its way to the Senate. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Well, today is the day, and I don't even know if I can describe the excitement, but I've got someone here, Garrick Little, who could probably give me a better idea, the head pro here at the Creek at Qualchin. And Garrick, I know there's been a lot of excitement about this day, but how are you feeling? We're all very excited that this day is finally here. Most we've been waiting a long time, and we've been talking about weeks. Could this be the weekend? Could this be the weekend? And a couple days ago, we decided to give it a go today. And it's finally here. It's finally here. I mean, and this is, one of the most beautiful courses you'll see if we can take a look over at that. But I mean, can you describe just how much people have been reaching out? We heard the phones ringing off the hook, people ready to get back out here on the course. Yeah, people have been calling since we had, a few inches of snow on the ground. Yeah. So everybody's, if they're ready to play in the snow, they're certainly ready to play today. Yeah, no, that was what I was going to ask you. It's just that, people probably, if they could, get out here during all of the elements and get to play in. Why do you feel that is? What is it about the sport of golf? Well, I just think that it's one that it takes a lot of stress off your life. You come outside and you just enjoy the day, and it certainly looks like we're going to have a good one today. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're going to have some good ones this weekend as well. So we appreciate you, Garrick, and go ahead and set your tee time. Beautiful forecast.
We are on one of the greatest days of the year. It is Pie Day today, and we have lots of fun customers that are lined down the street to pick up our pies. Our little personal pies are only $3.14 today.
We want everything, every single pie. That's what we're gonna get. We've been waiting out here for like an hour. It's so worth it. It's pie.
Oh man, I'm gonna be getting a pie for mother-in-law, for my girlfriend, for my boss, for my coworker. I'm gonna be getting like 8, 10 pies right now.
We have 20 different flavors, which is amazing, and we've made probably about at least 5,000 personal pies. So it is a rockin' day today.
Every single one of them sounds amazing.
It's the wonderful connection that pie provides to all of these people and between us and our customers, and we just call it pie magic. So we're just happy to be part of it.
And I'm gonna stuff my face. I'm gonna watch some Disney Plus. I'm gonna be so happy. And woo! Hi!
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus for a look at some of the biggest news stories of the past week. For the most current news throughout the weekend, you can watch our latest newscast here on KREM 2 Plus. Just look for it at the bottom of the navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.